Hello and welcome to HITC Sport. Alright, so for today, I'm going to take a look at every Premier League club's false dawn. Now, just so there's no confusion, Webster's dictionary defines a false dawn as a promising situation which comes to nothing. Christ above, there's been a few of those. Oh, by the way, lads, if you want to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, links are here, and I'm trying to hit 300k as quickly as possible, so if you could subscribe, you'll be my bestest friend forever. Now let's crack on with it. Arsenal, the Ozil signing. When Mesut Ozil had signed for Arsenal, you'd swear the Beatles had come out of retirement and or the grave. Christ above, the hysteria from the fans. After watching their best players get whittled away one by one each season, and going nearly 10 years without so much as an FA Cup, Arsenal fans were getting ready to have a bath with a f***ing toaster. It just seemed like spending money was a foreign concept to this board. So, spunking 42 million on Mesut Ozil, suddenly there was new hope, optimism breathed back into this stagnating club.
Now we've got Ozil, we're going to beat everyone in not only the country but Europe, mate. It's Champions League! Champions League! Come on!
Well, it's good to see they weren't getting too ahead of themselves.
Once one world-class player comes, the rest will follow.
Like who? Danny Welbeck? Since then, they finished 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 5th, 6th, and now 5th again. With most Arsenal fans now starting to realise that Ozil has all the work ethic and determination of a frozen pea. Aston Villa, the Champions League push. I remember when I was a teenager, it was February 2009, and Aston Villa were 3rd in the league. So I stupidly made a €15 bet with my friend that they would win the Premier League. Aston Villa, with Gabriel Igbonlahor and HITC up front. I thought that they would win the league. No wonder I ended up to be a YouTuber with brains like that. I mean, they obviously tailed off, winning just 2 games all season. One of them relegating Newcastle with Damien Duff scoring the own goal. But yeah, that's €15 I'll never see again. And I was a kid, I needed that money to live. I think some Villa fans might have got swept up in the hype though. A club record 7 away consecutive wins. Thrilling football. Surely Villa were destined for a crack at the Champions League sooner or later. No, instead they chucked their best players out the door, welcomed some god-awful managers, and were soon relegated without a fuss. With some fat lad in Ireland spending my 15 quid down the local pick and mix. That was my f***ing lunch money. I hope he chokes in his sleep. Sorry, that was harsh. It's been 10 years. He's probably already dead. Bournemouth, the push for League One. This was literally the hardest one to find, alright? A false dawn for Bournemouth? No, for the last 10 years the club has been on a steady rise. So I don't know, let's just go back to the 2000-2001 season. Back in League One, they followed up the previous season's 16th finish with a 7th place finish. Just missing out on the playoffs. The following season, relegation to League Two. Brighton, the Sami Hyypiä appointment. I'm not sure, I'm only guessing here. Brighton fans, let me know if I'm wrong, but I guess they were pretty excited when Sami Hyypiä was appointed in 2014. He'd been battling it out in the top 4 in the Bundesliga for a couple of years with Bayer Leverkusen. Now he was choosing to slum it in the Championship with Brighton. Surely he was going to be the man to finally pull them over the edge and get them into the Premier League. Nah, he was gone by Christmas after 1 win in his previous 18 games, with the Seagulls firmly stuck in the relegation zone. Burnley qualifying for Europe. It just seemed cruel to get Burnley's hopes up like that. Imagine you're a Burnley fan. You've been accustomed to a certain brand of football, a certain level of expectation. Come on, you support Burnley. You're supposed to drink 7 pints of Stella on a match day and spend 90 minutes berating the linesman as if he's pillaged your ancestors. I mean, just staying in the Premier League would be perfectly fine for Burnley. So come on, Dyche, don't get these lads dreaming about Europe when you've Ashley Barnes up front. How would you expect to win a European adventure with that squad? Like, who is Phil Bardsley going to help you knock out other than a pissed up Wayne Rooney? As expected, they crashed out in the qualifying rounds and slumped back to 15th. I guess that's what they get for having dreams. Chelsea, the appointment of Andre Villas-Boas. Remember when Andre Villas-Boas was hailed as the prodigal son, the second coming of Jose Mourinho? He'd already learned the ropes at Stamford Bridge. And like Mourinho, he'd just won a European trophy at FC Porto. Surely he was going to lead Chelsea into a new era of dominance. Nah, what Abramovich hadn't realised with that. Maybe the lads weren't prepared to take seriously the lad who'd spent time collecting bibs and putting out training cones the last time he was at the club. The man lasted less than a year and was sacked by March. Crystal Palace, Alan Pardew's great start. I don't know what it is about Alan Pardew. He always gets off to a good start at the club, before crumbling like a deck of cards. It's the equivalent of 10 minutes of romantic coitus before sticking it in her f***ing ear. He won 19 of his first 35 league games at Palace, winning at Anfield twice and reaching the FA Cup final. Then he did a stupid dance and then their form fell off a goddamn cliff. 6 wins in his last 38 league games. Fulham got more than that this season and they couldn't defend a corner. It was the same at Newcastle. I mean, yes, I know he seems like a man man who probably spends his Friday nights kissing his own reflection. But like, does he really get distracted by all the praise and just start believing his own hype? I mean, he's a grown man. But probably though, because he was even coming out with stuff like this just 6 months before he was sacked.
I want England job, but not yet. I do hope the Football Association will want to talk and have strong opinions on England, but I've been asked if I want the England job and I've given my answer. One day.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say the FA have since deleted your phone number. Everton, the billionaire takeover. So after years of having to punch above their weight, with David Moyes having to squeeze top half finishes with pieces of plastic up front, billionaire Farhad Moshiri finally invests in the club in February 2016. Just like Newcastle fans at the moment, there was excitement.
I'm over the moon. What the absolute a billionaire investor? I want to cry. The day has finally come. We are finally going to compete. Put in a bid for Messi, for sake. I can't believe it's actually happened. So are we going to win the league or what? Genuinely, undeniably over the moon with this. I never thought I'd see the day when Everton were taken over by a billionaire. I've got a good feeling about this. This has to be the beginning of something magical. I tell you what, this could be the kind of thing that keeps Stones, Lukaku, etc. at Everton for the foreseeable.
Like some of the Geordies currently placing bets on Kylian Mbappe, some of these Everton fans were predicting a Man City-style takeover. Moshiri is about to enter his 5th season at Goodison Park and hasn't managed to get them higher than 7th. In Sheikh Mansour's 5th season at City, already had 2 trophies in the bag, with one of them being the Premier League title. Yeah, I mean, Everton spend a bit more money now, but have things really changed all that much since the days of Roberto Martinez? They've just finished 8th in a row twice. David Moyes was doing better when he had Marcus Bent up front. Leicester City 2016 title win. Okay, this one just wasn't a false dawn, was it? Because I don't think Leicester fans were really expecting to follow up their title win in 2016 with another one, or with any, sustained period of dominance at the top. I think we all knew very well that Mark Brighton lifting the Premier League title was a f***ing one-off, but still, Leicester fans might have hoped to have followed it up with maybe a top 6 finish. Not to be circling the relegation zone in February, and to be sacking the manager for Craig Shakespeare, a lad who looks like he's made up of 95% cookie dough, and whose managerial CV was no doubt written on the back of a goddamn napkin. Liverpool 2014 title challenge.
Steven Gerrard, Liverpool can win Premier League title next year, May 2014.
After finishing 2nd that year, Liverpool fans couldn't be blamed for thinking,
the good times were coming back!
Yeah, no. Within weeks, Suarez was gone, Sturridge turned into a bag of bones fit for the scrapyard, and within a year they were finishing 6th in the league and getting slapped 6-1 off Stoke City, with Ricky Lambert up front. Man City, Thaksin Shinawatra takeover. Remember when Thaksin Shinawatra bought Man City in 2007? Just a year before Sheikh Mansour. He was kind of like that crazy girlfriend you meet just before your future wife. You know, the one who spits in your food and cuts your hair when you sleep. The one who reads your texts and feeds chocolate to your dog. This was about as false a dawn as you're going to get. City fans were at their wits' end prior to his arrival. They'd just seen their team score 10 league goals at home all season. The City scored 9 in one game alone this season. They say that pregnancy is one of the most taxing things on a human body. I'd argue watching Samers try to control a ball for 9 months is a lot worse. So when former Thailand Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra came in and promised big money signings, replacing Stuart Pearce with Sven-Göran Eriksson, there was hope. They won all but one of their home games before January, including a 1-0 win over Man United. They were in the top 4 in January. Shinawatra was making good on his promise, and then implosion. 17 games left, 4 wins. They lost 8-1 to Middlesbrough. Yes, 8-1. All the while, Shinawatra was now on the run from the law, with his £800 million fortune frozen. That summer was a mess. The club needed a miracle, otherwise they would be in a financial meltdown. Mark Hughes had only been in the door 5 minutes and was already threatening to quit. As we all know, Sheikh Mansour did save the day, but Christ above, Thaksin Shinawatra, what a way to nearly destroy a football club. Man United, the PSG comeback. Ollie's at the wheel, more like Caitlin Jenner. The club is effectively a walking DUI these days, careening down the road, a trail of blood and debris in their wake, like something out of GTA. But hey, Man United fans, I mean, they had that false dawn against PSG, but then all the fans just seemed to think they were going to start winning titles next year, and nah, since then 8 defeats in 12 games. Newcastle, the Mike Ashley takeover. Might not seem like it now, but Mike Ashley wasn't always the Cockney pariah on Tyneside. Back in 2007, this man was a saviour. Well, supposedly anyway. The fans hadn't forgiven the previous ownership for sacking Sir Bobby Robson, so this new jolly fella downing pints with the fans and sporting tune strips. A breath of fresh air, right? Fast forward 12 years and it's been nothing but 2 relegations, tight spending and just general misery at St James's. Norwich City, 2013 mid-table finish. For Norwich, I don't know, maybe the season they finished 11th in the Premier League. 12-13 campaign following up their previous season 12th place finish with 11th, chucking second season syndrome out the window. Third season in the league was their chance to consolidate themselves as a mid-table Premier League side. And who knows, maybe even push into the top half. With the arrivals of Nathan Redmond, late Leroy Fer, and Ricky van Wolfswinkel, half the fans were probably hoping for a push for Europe. Nah. Relegation, Sheffield United, 2009 playoffs. The 07-08 season had been a rough time for Sheffield United. Having spent that campaign choking on their own Tevez-induced rage, they stumbled to 9th, some way of bouncing back at the first attempt. But then the next season, they finished 3rd in the Championship and ultimately lost in the playoffs. But alright, at least Kevin Blackwell had them back challenging. They were back on the right track. Nah, next season he was back to square one, slipping to 8th, and then the year after that, relegation to League One. Southampton, 2003 FA Cup final. Believe it or not, 2003 was a year where people thought Southampton might actually do something. They'd reached an FA Cup final, returned to Europe, and were even floating around the top 4 at the start of the 03-04 season. But the Saints did what they always do, flogged their best players to the highest bidder, and the following year they were relegated. Tottenham, Carling Cup win. Tottenham hasn't won so much as raffle in nearly 10 years, so then they bring a man to North London who's won multiple Europa Leagues with Sevilla. Where have we seen that before? And within a few months, he's finally ended that drought. Ramos was surely going to lead this side to a golden era at White Hart Lane, laden with trophies. No, Ramos instead led them into a brick wall. Watford, 2006 Championship playoffs. I'll go for that time they won the Championship playoffs in 2006, beating Leeds United in the final. They probably wish they hadn't bothered, to be honest, considering they finished rock bottom of the Premier League next year. West Ham push for Europe in 2002. 01-02, West Ham rise from 15th in the league to 7th. A squad brimming with fresh young talent like Michael Carrick, Joe Cole and Jermaine Defoe. Surely the sky is the limit. Now, next season relegation. I'm still not sure how. Wolves 2003 Championship playoffs. Wolves win the 02-03 Championship playoffs. Excitement grips the town, and then they proceed to spend the next 9 months getting beaten to a bloody pulp and finishing bottom of the goddamn league. But hey, at least they beat Man United. Anyway, that's the end of it, lads. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Twitter and Instagram is there. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.